Hello everyone, welcome to episode 56 live with Sirus Migration. My name is Isuru Yapa. I'm an Australian registered migration agent. It's been a while since we last spoke, but there's so many good news to talk to you about, and there's so many updates we should discuss. We'll go one by one, and there's going to be plenty of new news to come up as well, because it's just the new financial year. I should say welcome or happy new financial year in Australia to everyone, and we will also discuss what it means to visa applicants, prospective visa applicants, and applicants who are in the list and expecting certain new changes. So as you all aware, there's so many every year on the 1st of July there are new changes applicable to certain visa categories in general skill migration sector. When we talk about 189, 190, 491, that sort of visas, and 188 visa category, the business visa categories, as well as certain other visas with let's say work visas with different protocols, and 485 visas, etc. So there's so much to discuss. We'll try to nail it down as much as we can, and in the meantime we are coming to you in live with YouTube as well as Facebook. So if you haven't subscribed to our channels, remember to hit that subscribe button or the like button, so each time when we upload one of these videos or the live sessions, you'll be notified. And also when we get there was towards the end of last financial year there was not much to talk, but right now there's going to be many changes coming up. So if you're in interest of getting to find out what's Australian visa systems got to offer you, whether you're in student visa sector, or you're a business talented person, or an investor, or you're expecting to work or live in Australia. So there's going to be so many new announcements that can come out anytime. A lot of states, most of the all the states are state nominations are closed at the moment, but they expected to announce their new visa program for this year very soon. So we'll be coming to you with all this news. So if you haven't subscribed again, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the like button in Facebook, so you'll get to know as soon as we come out in your smartphone, rather going into a computer desktop these days. So I'll have a little brief on today's agenda, and then we'll go through what's coming up. So I'll talk about the new 485 visa application changes, job ready program, how it affects job ready program, and the temporary graduate visa holders, how it can impact them with the new changes. Also the changes that might relate to employment nominations schemes, 482, 494 and 186 categories, where one of the main websites got changed. So I'll talk about that in detail very soon. And the visa application fees, it's obviously gone up for most of the sectors, but I'll just give you some examples, what are the exact changes and what are the prices, etc. So let's talk about the 485. This is a big hit. So subclass 485, this is also known as TR, or temporary residence. Some people call it, and there are sectors, some people, so with the scheme they call it PSW visa, temporary residence visa. So all get referred to this visa. This is a one of a lifetime visa that anyone can only apply for this visa once in their lifetime. So this is a platform that Australia has offered to international students once they completed their studies in Australia for them to be qualified to get to a job or maybe to seek permanent residency. So international students who study in Australia needed to complete their course, and there were some few protocols that they need to follow. So if the occupation outcome of that closely related studies that they've done is in MLTSSL or the medium to long-term skill occupation list, they were eligible to apply for temporary residence visa, fulfilling a few of other requirements. So you should have been in within 6 months of last student visa, and also you needed to have a skill assessment in certain categories, etc., etc. So right now, regardless of which list is your occupation outcome from that course, and also without having any skills assessment for everyone who's completed their studies, with fulfilling the minimum requirements like 2-year study requirement in Australia, they can apply for the visa without for this visa without going through the application process for skills assessment. So this is quite a big thing or big achievement for a lot of international students, taking out upfront stress out from their list, because they, as soon as they finish their final semester, most of them they get in the rat race to start their JRP process, because normally your student visa is given for until the time of the end of your course, plus maybe 3 months, up to 3 months. So within the 3 months they had to apply for another visa, and most of them applied for this visa. So if you were in this list now, one thing less, you don't have to worry about skill assessment. You can go straight into your 485 visa. But it is always advisable, as I said, this is a once a lifetime visa. You have to make sure that you apply for this visa at the right time, so that you would be qualified to get into the permanent residency pathway or get into a proper qualification. So you need to, if you not 100%, it is always advisable for you to get proper advice from a registered migration agent who's qualified and experienced in this sector. So that's mostly the 485 sector. If you have any other parts to be cleared, feel free to be in touch with us. There is another impact from this sector for the post-study skill assessment side. As I said, you can just complete your course and get into this visa as long as you fulfill the rest of the other requirements. So Job Ready program allows certain qualified trade people or the vet sector to be qualified to get the skills assessment. So for an example, if you're a cook or a chef or carpenter, you would or a mechanic, you would finish your course. Most of the trade courses they offer 360 hours of work experience. So you would go through the 4 steps of JRP. Right now, with the waiver of the PSA requirement, the provisional skill assessment requirement, you only now have to go through 3 steps for the JRP, Job Ready program. So you go through these 3 steps, you get a skills assessment that allows you to get into 189, 190, 491, that sort of general skill migration visas. Also, depending on your background, you might be eligible for work visas such as 482, 494, 186. All depends on your background and where your work experience and education comes from. So that's two good news back to back for students, international students completing studies. So there's going to be a lot of happy students who's happy news for international students starting up and also finishing up these days as well. And this 485 visa can go up from 2 years to 5 years depending on what you studied and where you studied, which university, where's the location. So most of these guys who's studying in regional areas or the migration regional areas, then you can apply for an extension for this visa. Once you complete 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, you can then go another extra year. So that's plenty of time for you to get qualified within your employment sector or your qualification sector. So if we also, there is another good news for temporary graduate visa holders. So people who's got affected from COVID-19. So one of the key points for when you say COVID-19, the dates go from 14th of December 2020 till, sorry, 1st of February 2020 till 14th of December 2021. If you were affected and you were not in Australia, then there'll be an extension granted from the department. So we've seen the first round went through in February, so there's people already experience about 6 to 8 months extension, and there'll be another round coming up after 1st of July. So if you are affected and if you haven't received, if you haven't or if received an invitation because you were overseas, you might get another extension or a invitation coming or a visa grant coming from immigration soon. So look out for it. And if you think you're missing out or you need to get it assessed why you haven't got it, be in touch. Be happy to help you out, look into your details. Most of these visas being granted automatically these days for 485 extension people. So keep an eye on your email address or check your junk mail and spam mails as well. This is next news is going to be related to work visa. So if you're employing foreign staff under 482, 494 or 186 sector, especially for 482 sector, one of the mandatory requirement is to go through the labor market testing. So labor market testing rings everyone's bell. You were required to advertise this position in jobactive.gov.au for at least 1 month. And lately this JobActive website has been updated or renamed as Workforce Australia. So the new name's been announced. So from 4th of July 2022, if you were to, there's been a new migration instrument. If you were to advertise, then you have to advertise it through Workforce Australia, and it's been instrumented as of 4th of July. So there's not much to worry about. It's the same sort of thing, and but renamed information in that way. So just before we go into other slides, I'm just letting you know, if you're coming to us in YouTube or the Facebook, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer as much as I can during the given time. So if you have something, type your question down below in the comment section, so I'll try to answer your questions during the given time. So if you have any questions, push it along. So we'll be looking up for it. And the next question is going to be next sector that we're going to talk about is the New PR pathway for TSS holders. It's been again. This is actually a token of appreciation for me, by the look of it, in my point of view. So Australia short-term skill occupation listed applicants. So if you were chefs are medium to long-term skill occupation listed occupation, whereas if you're a baker or a cook, or there are so many other occupations where the occupation, software testers, yours short-term skill occupation list. So if you were working in Australia during the COVID time, again the COVID time is classified as between 1st of February in 2020 till 14th of December 2021. If you decided to stay in Australia and continue to work with your employer, in my terms, as a token of appreciation from the government, it's a free gift from the government, they have decided to offer you an option to get into a permanent residency through 186 TRT, or transition sector. So how it works, you need to fulfill few things. You must have been working under a 482 or a 457 visa in between those times, and you must have been working for the same employer, because it's how the TRT works with 186. 186 is a permanent residency visa which is being granted for eligible applicants. So 186 has two streams. Stream 1 is direct entry, where you would have a minimum of competent English, and also and skill assessment for your occupation with at minimum of 3 years work experience. Where you don't have 3 years work experience and the skill assessment, you can be employed under a short, temporary or a provisional visa called 482 or 457 temporary visa for a certain amount of time, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years. And then if you were to fulfill 3 years in that visa category with the same employer, with the same occupation, then you could apply for 186 TRT program, transition program. And they had the same eligibility for 457 as well. So if you were working in Australia between 1st of February 2020 and 14 December 2021, and even though your occupation was in short-term skill occupation list with no option for you to go into permanent residency, with this new change you can now go into permanent residency under 186 TRT program. You don't require to have a skills assessment again, but even though your occupation is not eligible, you will be eligible to apply if you fulfill these requirements. So hope I explain you enough. It's just all in here. Try to put it to your context. I'm not the best teacher, but if I'm missing something, feel free to ask the question and I'll try to explain as much as I can. Or if you have a complicated or personal matter that you would like to talk or in your own background, I'm happy to take up an appointment with either one of you. Feel free to contact us via phones, emails, or you can contact us via websites as well. But the easiest way, pick up your phone and call us. There's so many appointments comes through, so we will accommodate you with a one-on-one session with you to go through your assessment or your criteria personally. There has also been every year with the CPI increases, there's expected visa fees increase as well. So from what I've gathered so far, I'm not sure about the business visa increase. I thought it was 6,200 something, but maybe we will confirm this. It's six. There's been about 3% increase in most of the visa fees. And also, I would like to point out, we haven't spoken about GTI for a while. Global Talent Independent, we've been getting a lot of results, a lot of nominations these days. So if you were to hit on the GTI sector, Global Talent Independent, before 1st of July 2021, after 1st of July 2021 till 1st of July 2022, high income threshold was 158,500. So what it means is, if you were getting 158,500 and you have global recognition and some experience and awards and your experience are in one of these target sectors that are listed in the screen, then you would have been able to get a nomination after an expression of interest. Now, this eligibility now has been changed and gone up to 162,000 as of 1st of July 2022. So bear in mind, if you're making over $162,000 and your skills in any of these 10 target sectors, and also you think you have global exposure, global experience, global talent, then we would love to help you out getting an expression of interest to apply for permanent residency. I still believe it's one of the very fast way to get into permanent residency. So let's take a couple of questions from the question and answer sessions. I'll see if I remember some of the questions. I was traveling along Sri Lanka, India, Nepal regions last month as well. So there's been so many clients I've spoken to, so got to listen to many clients. One of the common criteria that you guys they spoke to me about in the general skill migration sector, we have applied for an expression of interest during 2019-20. What's the plan we are expecting? Do you think we'll get an invitation, etc.? My common answer for these guys is it varies from state to state, but most of the states require you to apply for, like, Brisbane Queensland is expecting you to apply for a expression of interest after the 1st of July. So if you think your points are stacking up and things are working out good, it's best to put it together now. You're almost ready to get into the sector for this financial year. So if you need any support in this regard, be in touch. There are many categories. We'll see what will be the best category, and we have done many videos on how the point system work and how you can enhance the points, what to be expected. So most of the general skill migration visas, 189s, 190s, 491, as well as business talent and innovation visas are also invitation only visas. So you need to get either a federal invitation for 189 sector or state government invitation for 190 sector. For this matter, every year there is a different criteria applicable for clients each year. So this year And a lot of people ask, what do you mean by states are open, states are closed? So this year, the financial year new sectors are open now, but state nominations are not yet been open or not yet been announced. What's their protocol? For an example, last year, if you took Queensland, the requirement for a 190 was, as an indication, you need to have at least 80 points, living in and working in Queensland for at least 6 months with 12 months job offer. So those sort of criteria has not yet been set up. Last year, most of the visas in Queensland, for an example, weren't extending opportunities for offshore at all. But when you took South Australia, halfway through, they decided to extend invitations to offshore clients, especially people with 8+ years experience, and they gave some criteria: IELTS, proficient, superior plus, and so this year those criteria not yet has been announced, and the states are not yet accepting new applications for this financial year yet. But there are a few states already announced that they're expecting to start their programs early as end of this month. So if you're a general skill migration applicant, getting ready to put your application together, it is best to get an experienced registered migration agent's advice as to how well you're suited for each category, and how your application can be listed, and maybe get their support to submit your application. So if there's anything that we can do to help, happy to take up the time to have an interview with one-on-one with you to support you in this process. So once you get your invitation rounds comes about 4 times in general each year. So in August or so, August to September, there's going to be one invitation round, and then follow on every 2 to 3 months sort of thing. Some states do it almost monthly. It's hard to tell, but yeah. Be competitive. How to sharpen up your points, how to get maximum points. There is no first in, first out criteria in these visa categories. So it is good to get your experience, your background set up right now, and make sure you're in the right path. And then as soon as the borders are, the states are open, you can then put your application together. So I would go into some of the questions now. Let's go into Facebook. Anil, you would like to know about skill migration in marketing specialists, and what is the criteria and requirement documents for it. Marketing has advised that you're coming to the office later today, so I'm looking forward to talk to you then. As I said, most of the states have not. I can advise you on 189 and indicative information on 190, depending on your background and the information. But most of the states have not yet been opened. So depending on what's your background, we had a few approvals in this sector in different states last financial year with quite a bit of high marks. Marketing specialists in short-term skill occupation list. So for you to get into 491 or 190, it's a very good opportunity to get permanent residency, because likelihood of getting a permanent residency pathway through employment nomination can be a bit tough unless you worked in a regional area. So look forward to talk to you soon, Anil, and go through your background. Rajad Rizan, while waiting for 491 visa grant from DHA, can I apply for Medicare? Look, I'm not as a registered migration agent, I'm not eligible to give you advice on Centrelink affairs or Medicare affairs. To my understanding on this matter is 491 you're required to be granted, but I have seen people come to us saying they did receive Medicare benefits while waiting too. Hope that fulfilled your question. 𝗔𝗡𝗣𝗢𝗡𝗢𝗔𝗡𝗓, what are the new possibilities or updates to get an employer-sponsored visa in next financial year 2023? So we are in the 2023 financial year. The most of the current requirements and the requirements we had going to continue as it is, but there are talks from the new Labour government. Honourable Prime Minister has already indicated that they're looking into options for short-term skill occupation listed occupations and applicants to have permanent residency pathway. So it's going to be a quite big announcement when it happens, but it's not been legalized yet. Kuda, when is the Victoria opening? So Victoria State, as of most of the others, they have not yet announced what date and how they're going to start. I actually had a previous discussion about Victorian migration 188 or the business visa program as well. With Victoria and New South Wales, they came up with so we have the federal government requirements for business visa. So good thing about this, you do not require to have any English or academic background to apply for business innovation visa 188A, B and C, but you need to have an invitation from state government. So with Victoria and New South Wales, last financial year towards the end, they decided to come up with their own protocols. So last year with the financial program, they decided a separate set of rules for them, like most considered unless you have exceptional age requirement was 50, and they introduced some target sectors to work on, etc. So but long story short, we don't know the dates yet, but there are expectations that the state governments will start to open their invitations rounds as soon as end of this financial year. So Majid Ali, hi. 𝗔𝗡𝗣𝗢𝗢𝗓, looking for applying to electrical engineer technician. Very good, Madhav. It's a good sector. I'm not sure whether you're onshore or offshore. If you're regardless whether you're onshore or offshore, I think if you haven't done your skill assessment yet, I think a very good start would be to do your skill assessment. Make sure you have a valid IELTS. If you need to sit for an RT exam, sit for your RT exam so you can enhance another 5 points, and then you got to go through what's behind you. Have you got work experience in Australia, offshore, and where you studied, etc. So there are always, they have given opportunities to enhance your points by other ways. So if you require personal assistance on any of these, give us a call. We'll go through it, and I hope you sounds like you're from Sri Lanka. If you're currently in Australia and studied in Australia, you'll have quicker response in your skill assessment, and if you haven't done it yet, be in touch. We can help, or otherwise find someone qualified and experienced in the sector. So Anil, again, thank you for addressing my queries. Are you able to further information you need from my side? Look, setting up an appointment is not a problem. Please be in touch with the office. They know my schedule better than I do, and then we can always accommodate an appointment with you. We always work on priority basis as well. We have certain appointments for scheduled clients and also priority clients where you require our attention quicker. So the best way to be in touch, either send us an email to admin@sirus.com.au, or if you feel you're not getting an answer soon enough because our staff are engaged, pick up the phone. If you're local, 0733618177, or that if anywhere from across Australia, 13000 74787. If you remember 13000 Sirus, SIRUS, that digital pad Sirus, then you can get to us. Got a mobile phone as well. If you call that, you'll get to Mario or Lena. So they just make sure we get you the appointment soon enough. So let's get to the next question in YouTube. Mukesh Pujara, so any changing in subclass 143? Yeah, subclass 143 contributory parent visa. Look, I haven't seen any new changes, but we're expecting to get some sooner processing time. So the government has already announced that they're going to put more attention towards finalizing family visas quicker. So we already know there's going to be unsealed, uncapped over 40,500 partner visas to be granted this year. So Mukesh, my expectation will be 143 visas. The change would be they'll be expediting the process. So those who don't know what 143 visa is, it's a contributory parent visa. What it means is if you pass the family balance, which is if you have more than half of your family or the children live in Australia as a permanent resident or citizen, then you may be eligible to apply permanent residency stay for your parents. So 143 is contributory parent. What it means is when you apply for the visa, there's a long queue. It can go up to 10 to 20 years plus to get this visa process. But if you were to go under contributory parent visa category, where you contribute a certain amount, that's about 47,000 these days, when the visa is about to be granted, so it is not an upfront payment, you can then expedite the process. So there's 143 and as well as 173, where you can't afford to pay that full fee. You can pay about 20,000 in the first go, and then your parents can come and live and work in Australia for at least 2 years, and then pay the rest of not the rest, it's about another 28,000 after 2 years before they get the permanent residency. So they get temporary residency first and then permanent residency. And some people sometimes get confused with parent visas with 143, 103 and 173, but some people get confused when they have visitor visa category, where parents can come and live with you for in a long-term visa for 5 years or 3 years, etc. But if your parents were to if you wanted your parents to live with you without a break, so no 3 months, no 12 months in 18 months sort of conditions, then you can waive it off. So you need to, if it's a 3-year continuous, you have to pay the government $3,000. If it's if it's 3 years, $5,000. If it's 5 years, $10,000 sort of thing. So depending on your requirement, there are visa categories for that. You also don't have to go through the balance of the family category as well. So even if you have only one family member out of 3, then yeah. So with the balance of the family, if you have 3 members in your family, for 143 sector and 173 sector or 103 sectors, you need to have at least 2 people living in Australia as permanent residents or citizens. Went a bit off the track, but I think it gave you an overall picture of parents' visas. If you have any doubts or if you need any clarifications, please be in touch. Again, parent visa can be a bit of a long process. So the last thing you want is to apply for the wrong category or wrong application. So you make sure you get the right advice before you put this application. Again, contacting experienced qualified migration agent, registered migration agent is always advisable. Next questions from 𝗥𝗘𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. If our student visa is less than 16 months, will it okay? Look, it depends. I mean, it's okay. Student visa doesn't mean like you genuinely temporary entrance criteria, and your entrance expectation should be to come here, study, and return to improve your and then you improve your skills and experience in Australia. So for that, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 16 months, it's okay. Where people get confused with this the time period is, if you were to study in Australia for 2 years, you get 5 points towards your general skill migration, and depending on the time period, you get your opportunity to apply for your 485 sort of thing. So where it matters is when it comes to that. So again, depending on your expectation or your migration pathway, your migration plan, these requirements can vary a little. So best thing is to talk to a migration agent, or in this matter, 𝗥𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧, you can talk to an education agent to understand what you want to study and what qualification you want to achieve. Mr. Sirus, dear sir, regarding health examination for 491 visa, would a pre-existing medical condition of child will cause rejection? If not disclosed, will that be an issue? I will not, Siraj, what can expect during the examination? Pre-existing, knowingly ignoring it, can be negligence and can lead you up to visa cancellations and refusal. Most of the pre-existing conditions can be explained, or you could ask for waivers. But my advice always is to be truthful. There's so much you can travel through that. There's people with autism, people with kids with cancers, HIV. There's so many other things, but these things can be waived or be given address through the public interest criteria to the case officer carefully. So what happens, people, to ease off the ignorance, they tick the wrong button for the benefit of the moment, and it can cause you a lot of trouble later down the track. And they always think, oh, my application would be ignored, or my application, it won't happen to me. But trust me, a lot of people get caught up, and if you found to be knowingly tick the wrong box or not declare it, you can get into trouble. So my honest opinion is always address it, but get advice from a migration agent or a migration lawyer. How can this be addressed properly, or what will be the direct impact to a certain illness that they have. So hope that answered the question. Rohit Sharma, good afternoon to you too. You're on 482 last 6 months as a chef, and now we are applying for 186 direct entry stream. My agent said advertising is compulsory to apply before visa, and please tell me nomination and visa compulsory to apply before visa, and please tell me nomination and visa application. Not sure what you mean, but so Rohit, and run together in 186 visa, please apply. We have 8 years experience as chef. We are working in Brisbane. So 8 years work experience is very good because it ticks a lot of boxes. For 186 visa, especially for 186 direct entry, your experience has to be post-study or post-qualification work experience, unlike for 482. So if you're currently holding 8 years experience, even if you don't have a qualification, then that is sufficient, because normally 3 years work experience is equivalent to a qualification for 482, and again you still have 5 years. So that is that should fulfill your requirement. You're required to I always advise my clients to go through the labor market testing, or advertise your position. At the moment 482 it is mandatory. 186 also I advise clients to go through the labor market testing, which is giving a genuine feedback for the case officer to assess your background. So if you've spoken to a registered migration agent, I'm pretty sure they've given you the right advice. Rather confusing yourself with many advice, I would stick to someone's good advice and follow it through. I think you're in very good books if you got your skills assessment and compete in English with the evidence of your work experience. I think you're in good hands. You should soon be in the 186 direct entry application. And with Jacob, how much will it be the cost to migrate to Australia for a staff nurse? I would like to migrate to Queensland. Very good state. It's been very cold last few days, and it is unusual for us. So, and it depends what category you're going to apply and then what experience, and have you got a Australian registration already. So you need to have a AFRA or NMAC registration as an Australian registered nurse. Then you can be considered as a nurse. Once you have that sorted, then you can either go by your points, general skill migration by yourself, or if you have an employer who's willing to sponsor you, then you can go apply yourself under employee nominated scheme too. Amila Muthalige, and sorry, Envy, if you need any support, again, be in touch. Happy to take a one-on-one consultation with you. Amila Muthalige, hello there. Any possibilities in ACT for offshore engineering technologies with 80 points, Canberra matrix? 60 points, very good. Wait till the states open and to find out. Also, how about to receive a nomination from SA Queensland coming up openings? Thank you. So very good question. Quite a big question, but the states aren't again open yet, and they have not announced whether they expect accepting offshore applicants or not. You sound like you have a good footing in ACT as well. ACT, if you have a good matrix point, ACT is a very good state to get into as well. We've seen clients getting nominations at 65 points, so matrix points are the tough one to get through in ACT. So very good. We'll be checking up on this, and we will announce you as soon as it comes. So if you haven't subscribed to our channel, again, hit the subscribe button so that way you'll be notified when we're pushing these new outcomes out. We are expecting to have these announcements coming up very soon. So Ajit Amarasinghe, could you please let me know whether you handle DANA program? I'm pretty sure you mean DAMA, Designated Area Migration program. So yes, we depending on which DAMA or wherever it is, we can support you with DAMA program. For those who don't know what DAMA is, so there are DAMA programs around Australia. There's a pretty good one in far north Queensland. Marius, very well prepared. So this is the DAMA list. Far north Queensland's got a really good one. That DAMA gives you further relaxations in your with your employee nominated scheme. So where you have to be for your cutoff mark is 45, DAMA allows you until 55 in certain areas. So you can go up to 55 and get the permanent residency through that, or you can waive off your like I said, age requirements or your English requirements depending on the DAMA program. So there are DAMA programs around, or they can also waive off the skill occupation program too. Like for an example, truck drivers in Orana region, they allow you to apply, whereas everywhere else, most of the other places, they wouldn't let you get a 482 or getting into a 186 as a occupation under you as a truck driver. So DAMA programs, so definitely we help, and it's a very good program for applicants as well, where they have issues with their English or their age or their skill level of their occupation as well. Patrick saying, when will Queensland 491 and 190 open? We expect last financial year it was a bit late till October or so, but we expecting this year to be initiated earlier than that. So I'm expecting the program to start early as end of this month. I've got quite a few applications to push through, especially the business visas. So hopefully they'll come up with a very good program, and I expect them to start some offshore application this year as well. So last 2 years or so during the COVID time, Queensland did not accept any offshore applications. So yeah. I've got a question from Razin. So guys, the time is also ticking out. I'll go up till Patrick sends question. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions from now, and call it a day, and we'll go from there. But yeah. Good afternoon, I'm Razin. Currently pursuing PhD in Japan. Oh, very good. Konnichiwa. About to finish next year. Age is just 28 and married. What is the procedure for immigration, and what is the plus and minus in my case? Look, I can't say minus points. It's just a matter of us in understanding what will be the best migration program for you to get into if you want to get in that way. If you're a recently graduated applicant within the first 6 months or so, and you have fair bit of international recognition and also experience in global markets, and also your PhD is in one of the 10 target sectors, then you might be able to be eligible for global talent as well. But you might have other opportunities through 190 programs 491, and you're very young and got a PhD already. So being 28, you get 30 points for your age itself. And then you get your points for your PhD, and then if you have any work experience, then you get points for that too. So be in touch. I'm happy to take up a one-on-one consultation with you to explain to explore what options you have, and then we'll give you an option what will be the best suited category for you. Sajan Gurung, after the completion of bachelor's in IT in 2014, I've been working as front-end developer since 5 years in Nepal. Very good. Which visa would be the best for me to migration, or better apply for student or for masters? So when you're picking up your options, it is hard to tell what will be the best option, because I don't know what's the level of your English, what's the level of your whether you're married, whether you got NATI exams or like other qualifications, etc. So sounds like you have good prospects for employee nomination as well as 189, 190 sort of categories, like the general skill migration categories. But I find it really difficult at times to find an employer without being here. So then in that case, keep an eye out for job opportunities in Seek and LinkedIn, etc. If you found an employer, as long as you, from what you said here, as long as you have competent or above English with your background, I think you may be eligible for a 186 direct entry application as well. But there might be other options available for you. If you were to improve your academic background a little bit more, or if you want to specialize in a certain sector, some people, they are software developers, but nowadays there are booming demand for certain sectors such as cyber security, etc. If you wanted to improve that to enhance your CV, then it will be a good option for you to come and study and give it a better shot for your employment prospects too. Then it's a good option, definitely. By the way, we are expecting to visit. We have an office in Kathmandu. We are expecting to visit next month. I think Yukesh is going to be there, and in September, myself and Mickey is going to be there too. So if you like to have a chat in person, we'll catch up with you. Otherwise, I think you're in very good hands with very good background. Alan, starting online classes without a visa will be a problem for subclass 485 after my studies. So there are, I've been, as I said, I've been traveling through subcontinents last few months. So a lot of students, we had because it's been 2-3 years, we didn't have any international students, and we started international students coming to Australia earlier this year. We've seen many applications. We ourselves process a lot, and so there are, obviously with the influx, departments having issues process it quickly as well. So there are some delays with finalizing visa applications. If you finding a delay in application processing, and you decide to start the classes, it is good. But I would recommend you start one subject online or so, because if you for you to be eligible to get the full 485 exposure, you need to have a visa holding. So normally for 3 to 4 months to study one subject is a good option. But don't do too many subjects, in my opinion, if you were expecting that category. Again, Alan, happy to have a good chat to understand where you stand. Satipan, can we apply for 190 after going through invitation for 491? You got a 491 from one state. Very good question. I get this asked a lot. Once you get 491 invitation from one state, you cannot apply for a 190 from another state. So good and bad option, I guess. Patrick, my wife has 10 years skills assessment from CPA. She has done CPA also. Currently working in regional North Queensland as a senior accountant, CA firm, for at least 4 months, 7 in each IELTS. She has 85 points. So Patrick, you sounds like your wife's got a couple of options. If you're working in regional North Queensland, think about both the 190 options as well as 491 options, because if you have 85 points by herself, for 491 it should be 100, unless 85 is with 195 points. She still has 95 points, which is good. So you might have those options. And also looking at the background, 10 years skills assessment, I think, and she's got 7 in each band in IELTS as well. You have the option to consider 186 direct entry if your employer is willing to help her out that way. So if you like to have a quick chat to see what other options and what are the most beneficial options for you, happy to take up a bit of time to help you out. Savantha De Silva, I have lodged an EOI for software engineer with 90 points, includes state 5 points. Okay, so 85 by yourself. What do you think about my chances of getting an invitation? Well, software engineer 90 is not a bad one, but which states did you apply for? Yeah, I don't know the background, but 90 points is a good points for a software engineer, I would say. 𝗔𝗣𝗢𝗢𝗔𝗡, thank you for clarification of down program. We will try and get in touch with you. Look forward to talk to you, Ajit. And konnichiwa, arigato gozaimasu. I will look at the given number. Look forward to talk to you. Sayonara. Nihongo sukushi wakarimashita, not too much. It's been a wonderful day again, answering your questions. Always happy to help, given the opportunities and the timelines. Look forward to reach you guys as soon as we hear more news, or else, as usual, first week of Thursday, first Thursday of every month, we'll be here with you, giving you an overall picture and having a yarn about and giving you solutions and answers to your questions to the best of our knowledge. Again, thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, hit subscribe button in YouTube, or for thumbs up button in Facebook. Looking forward to talk to you guys soon and produce some videos to help you out with the new updates coming up in coming weeks. And so expect a lot of videos from us very soon, and keep an eye out, so that'll help you out with a lot of categories and a lot of opportunities these days. And until we see you next, stay safe. God bless you all. Take care.